Welcome to the Live Your Mission live show with Joe Orsak here, sponsored by Go7 Life, the guaranteed best price in the life insurance business. We put our money where our mouth is. If we cannot meet or beat your life insurance quote, we will pay you $100. So easy money, right? Get that taken care of if you haven't, guys. Well, on today's show, I have got a fantastic guest that I'm really looking forward to introducing and learning a little bit more about what he's got going on, what he's got to talk about. This is Jason's with us here, Jason Antalek, if I'm saying that right, Jason Antalek. And Jason is passionate, something I'm very passionate about, connecting people with their divine potential. I always tell folks, don't get hung up on the words, right? Divine mission, divine purpose, whatever. We all have a calling, slap whatever label you want on it. But whenever you're doing it, whenever you're about it, life just kind of flows better, and you have a heck of a lot more happiness. And if you're an entrepreneur, you really, really, really need that. You need to tap into that because you're going to have that energy up there to build a world-class business. There's plenty of sucky businesses out there, and we don't need any more of those. So in order to build a world-class business, you really got to have that mission, that purpose, that divine calling, divine potential dialed in and on track. So you're going to have that energy to sustain building a world-class business. So I am really looking forward to what Jason's got to talk about today. Jason had a past injury, a brain injury that was kind of a catalyst for him getting on this path in life. And so I'm really looking forward to hearing what Jason has to say about this. And so without too much further ado here, I want to turn it over to you, Jason, and share a little bit about who you are and that sort of thing, and tell us. I want to hear about this brain injury and what got you on the track that you're on currently.
All right. Thanks for having me on, Joe. Appreciate that. Good to meet all the Facebook Live folks and those listening now or after. My name's Jason Antalek, and as Joe said, I was kind of put on my life path as a result of a brain injury from a motor vehicle accident. I walked away from this situation with post-concussion syndrome, and that's got about two varieties. The very short, you're okay in a week to 10 days, and then there's the long haul that doesn't really have a time frame attached to it. And I spent my time on the long haul. There's a lot going on with post-concussion syndrome. It starts with headaches and dizziness and just some cognitive issues all the way around. The deeper that I got into the first few days, I was having all sorts of emotions come up that I wasn't used to. Things would bother me. I was feeling depressed. I always had, some sort of ailment going on I wasn't used to, and got pretty overwhelmed. And eventually Western medicine had really done everything for me that they could, and I started looking at Eastern medicine, found a really great acupuncturist and Reiki healer, and those things helped. They really did. I knew there was more. I knew there was more I could do for myself, and that's when I came across the Akashic records, and the information that I tapped into there about myself is what really shifted the gears on my healing process.
Well, and I got to get myself back in here. It's so, timing and everything else. In fact, I'm trying to invite this gal to the feed right now. A friend of mine is a waitress, and she was picked up by an inebriated guest, shall we say. And he kind of flung her over his shoulder and then dropped her. Oof. Like over the back of his shoulder, and she fell, landed on the back of her head, and she got a very severe concussion and is in treatment and all kind of stuff now. It's been weeks. She's actually had a declining speech capacity. just a bunch of stuff that have been big issues. And so, I mean, traumatic stuff. So I'm trying to find her right now on my friends list so I can invite her to the into the feed as we speak, because she definitely needs to hear this.
Oh, that's great.
So first of all, tell me, I mean, I got to admit I'm a little ignorant on the subject here. You know, I'm I can't say I'm against Western medicine, don't get me wrong. It's not that. I believe that our bodies really were meant to heal themselves, and if you give them the proper stuff, the proper tools, so to speak, that they can just do really amazing things within themselves. And I've seen some pretty amazing stuff on that front. But I got to tell you, I don't know a lot about it, first of all. And then second of all, I really don't know anything about what Akashic records are. So help me out there. Help a brother out, dude.
Can you? You've touched on what really put me on my life mission. So I have lots of enthusiasm and lots to say about the Akashic records. I did want to confirm your point of the body actually doing the healing and sparking that up in your body and getting it headed the right direction, no matter how that happens with whatever injury, is really key. And understanding that anything that's moving towards healing is really coming from within. A doctor can sew you up and put some bandages on it, but the reality is you heal the wounds yourself. So around brain injuries, that takes quite a bit of time, depending on how severe it is. So I hope that your friend makes it to the feed. Now, the Akashic records, real quick, we'll go through the short explanation. Imagine that you have a database of all the things you've done in this lifetime. And by that, I mean everything that you've thought, everything, every decision that you've made, every interaction that you've had, even down to the minute pieces. All of that is available in basically an etheric hard drive. So if you imagine all the choices and consequences, all of the things you've participated in your whole life from the very beginning, available in one place. That's a lot of information, right?
Big hard drive.
Yeah, big hard drive. And go ahead.
Say, you know, so why does that matter? Why is that? I mean, I agree with that statement. I believe the data's in there, and whether it's our mind or consciousness or soul, again, tell folks not to get hung up on words. I believe it's all in there. So why is that important?
That's a great question, Joe. The beauty of the Akashic records is it doesn't just hold your present lifetime. It holds any of your past lifetimes, or all of them, really. And why it matters is because as we evolve as a soul, anytime that we have access to information that we've previously experienced, it allows us to adapt that information to apply in our present lifetime. So what that means is if you find something in your life that's a damaging cycle, an unwanted behavior, some sort of thing that just keeps showing up, like maybe you have trouble with money, we could go back in your Akashic records and possibly find a lifetime where you were maybe a monk and you gave up every material thing that you had to be in service. And that's something that can carry over. And until that's really addressed specifically and understood, we can continue to have karmic issues around that sort of decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So let me ask you this. That leads us up to what I'm anticipating you're going to be talking about, and from a solution kind of a standpoint. So for folks who are having these issues, my friend here with the getting dropped on her head. I mean, that's a very real kind of a deal. Walk us through some of some steps that you prescribe.
Gotcha. Well, the basis for where my desire to fix things coming from that sort of post-concussion syndrome standpoint was to address the problems I was having with my memory and the anxiety, the depression, just so many cognitive ability restrictions, and I knew what I was capable of before that. And in the moment, I still understood what I was capable of. And I just had lots of questions around, will this ever go away? Is this something that that can be cured? So I looked for answers wherever I could get them. So when I started working with the records, what I found is that there's certain energies that are part of your soul's makeup. So kind of like the energetic soup that was created when you became a soul from the very beginning. So before any lifetimes. And this energetic information applies to all of your lives. So what it helped me do in the records was find out what that energetic makeup was for myself. One of those things was around self-expression and authenticity. So that's why I love to share my story. I love to help people understand what their story is. And when I'm speaking or writing, those things are in alignment. And we hear that all the time, right? What's in alignment? Those are talents that I have. And using those talents is what actually propels me towards living my purpose. So the first step there being that it's about embracing the true you. And,
all right.
And by doing that, you get a look again at what are all these pieces of things that I'm really good at, right? So for me, it was writing and speaking. Like I said, I love to teach. I love to continually learn. And I love to take those abstract kind of concepts and bring them down into bite-sized chunks so they're a little easier to latch onto. Something like the Akashic records, I mean, that's a pretty big concept if you look at all of your lifetimes put together in one place. So it's about rediscovering the gifts, the things that we're just naturally good at, and allowing for those to be where we make our decisions from.
Do you have a process? Because I genuinely think a lot of people struggle with this step. It's one of those things where people, and I've got people messaging me and this topic here, so it's kind of funny. I'm like, yes, we're talking about this, hop in,
Right.
But I think people really struggle with this part. It's so strange, and it's like easy to look at someone else's life and go, they're talented at this or they're talented at this. But when it comes to yourself, actually being able to do that with yourself, I think people are so filled with doubt. They've been told no so much in their life. All this sort of thing, that they simply have a hard time identifying their talent points, things that they're good at, and more importantly than connecting those dots into one kind of a mission, a calling, that type of thing. Do you have a process that you go with through that? Is there steps? Is there just asking lots of questions, or?
Well, what I do when I work with somebody to get started is I really look for what those energies are, so that we can talk about embracing the true you. So that's really step number one. The three-step system moves on to activating your value and then moving to divine action, which I'm happy to share and explain those pieces. One of the things in our achievement-driven society is that everybody is accustomed to looking at the things they need to learn to fit in, or studying the things that are harder for them. They pick a direction and suddenly they find out, like, I don't want to do all this math. I don't want to do all this writing. So for them, something else is actually what's right for them. Whenever we follow, say, a guru, we're trying to get to a new place, we're trying to activate something in our life. When we follow that guru, it's great to get some of their points, but that's really the system that worked for them. Finding out what that can be adapted to our lives is what's really important. And that's where activating your value, the second step, comes in. Gotcha.
Well, very cool. Well, okay, so you've got activate your value. That's a good segue here for your second step there. Tell us a little bit about that.
That part expands on the things we talked about in step one. Step one builds the foundation for how we look at all the next pieces and parts. It really helps you get a broad view of, okay, if I'm working with these certain things, this is what works for me. And then we talk about present situations that might be in your life. So for me, the question I asked internally when I started to activate my value is, what am I doing to express myself? How am I being authentic and sharing my story? So that led me to start a meetup. And when I got the meetup going and was able to share information on what the Akashic Records are, I found that I really loved helping people understand that concept, and that it's so vast. It's kind of nice to have a little bit of navigation to get started. And by activating people's value, it helps them move into a space where the gifts that they have are making their lives easier. So we really look for how to apply that right away.
I'm going to put you on the spot and ask this question. So I'm being a terrible interviewer here and not letting you know this in advance, but I just thought of it while you were talking. Do you have a favorite example, somebody that really had a light bulb moment? You don't have to obviously name them or anything, but just kind of right. Somebody who went, wow, when you open their eyes to what their value was and really embracing themselves.
Yeah, I actually do. Thank you for asking that question. I see that often. That aha, that kind of light bulb moment is so often in my work. It's one of those things that I get to be present for and enjoy in how other people are putting it together. Some people are really strong manifestors, and they can be out of alignment with bringing things into their life that they really want. And oftentimes, as a client just recently finds, is that they're in a space where they're trying to use that power for other people. So they're really trying to help others and giving so much of themselves, which is a natural state as human beings. We want to take care of those people around us. And then when she connected that the manifesting that she's doing is for others, it really wasn't about what was best for her and for them. It was just about them. And it gave her permission to look at what she was really good at and refocus it back to her own life, to her own energies. And her manifesting ability cranked right back up again.
Outstanding. That's very cool. Very cool. I figured just on the fly you would be okay with that question there. So.
Oh, yeah. Bring them on.
So tell us more. I know after you got the value going and that sort of thing, you've got a next step here for us. So tell us a little bit about that.
Right. After you've embraced the true you and you've gotten in touch with that part and you've learned how certain situations in your life allow you to activate those gifts and make it easier, the next step is moving into divine action. And what that means is moving in alignment with who you are and continuing to look for those opportunities to leverage the things that you already know you're good at and apply them as you take action. So I'm going to give you an idea of what that looks like. I had another client that was that shared energy that is similar to mine, that's around self-expression and authenticity. And she is naturally a teacher. She likes to share concepts and teach people how to do things. And she had lost touch with that from 20 years ago, and her life was just really unfulfilling for her. So she actually went to the rec center and signed up to teach some classes, went through their process, and found out right away that teaching was extremely valuable for a lot of reasons. It re-sparked her passion. That passion rolled over into other areas of her life. She was excited to go teach the classes and come up with curriculum and really express herself and be authentic with her experience. And the students respond really well to that. So for all of them, it was in alignment with who she was and what they were ready to learn.
Outstanding, man. So how long have you been on this path?
Well, October of 2015 was the beginning. That was the awakening. It took me some time to really get to a place where I could study and research and do those things again. So a little over 2 years on this current journey after the shift is what I like to call it. So a couple of years, but I've been really fortunate to be able to help a lot of people one-on-one and continue to do what I do and to see it affect people's lives and create positive change. When you clear out the goofy stuff that is really our patterns from society, those behaviors, it clears things out of the way and gives us an opportunity to make new decisions, new actions, new outcomes. That's really the key.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I know that you have a website where people can find you. And I think we even have a special offer for folks that are tuning in today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let us know a little bit about that.
Perfect. What I've set up is a free 30-minute consultation that you can book off my website. And that is available for anybody listening to the show. It'll take you directly to a scheduling link where you can answer a few short questions and find that 30-minute spot that works for you. And during that free 30-minute consultation, we'll take a look at those energies, the basic energies that are active for you. And we can look at how you can apply those in your life right away, how that can help. I'm all about practical, actionable information. And honestly, we can do a lot in 30 minutes. So I look forward to connecting to some new people through that. And we'll take a look at what it looks like then. And see if there's any interest in moving forward. If you want to do anything else around the Akashic Records, that's part of the offer. But you can get so much from that 30-minute consultation. You'll walk away with tremendous value from that meeting.
So they will actually have some good takeaway items, actionable items from the 30-minute consultation?
Absolutely. I'm all about helping you right now. The beauty of the Akashic Records is we can look back at situations and see what didn't work. That's how it's helpful now. So if we have those behaviors, those cycles in our life right now, we can really get a bead on what started that whole process. It lets us connect with what is your information. And when you resonate with your own information, the pieces just come together a lot easier. So you take away a lot of positive things from our first consultation together.
That's excellent. That's very good, man. Well, we've got it scrolling on the screen for folks to see. Just the http://akashaman.com, and then just make sure to plug in the Joe Orsak at the end there so that you guys can take advantage of the free 30-minute consult. And look forward to sending some folks your way.
Great.
And helping folks continue through the show and through what you're doing, and all the folks that enjoy this kind of a subject, looking forward to helping people dial in their mission even further, bringing further clarity to it. The more people we can get tuned into what their mission is in life, I believe the better the world is around us. And that's, part of my mission, helping folks excel and exceed and reach the best version of themselves that they possibly can. So, man, I thank you for being on today, Jason, and appreciate your time and just giving freely of what you do and sharing that with the world around you. It's awesome to meet, folks like you and see like-minded individuals out there.
We're all working for the same thing, going to the same place. We just have different ways of doing it. And it's beautiful that your mission and my mission are parallel. That's good time. So thanks so much for having me on today. I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to share my message.
You bet, man. You bet. All right, guys, that's another edition of the Live Your Mission live show, in the can, as they say. Be sure to hop over to the website, liveyourmissionloveyourlife.com, liveyourmissionloveyourlife.com. We've got all kind of cool shirts over there. that express the different values of the show. I think they're pretty cool. Some good gym wear, that type of stuff to keep you motivated, and motivational phrases out there. So be sure to check that out. And we'll be back next Tuesday at 10 a.m. With another edition of Live Your Mission Live, and hope to see you around.